Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Cancer April 2019 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, as far as April goes, the Sun will be in Aries from the 1st until the 20th, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on one's career, the dominant parent, status, recognition, stature in life, authority figures, reputation, public image. And this is also, given we're talking about, Aries energy. This could be done with a lot of assertive and aggressive energy, really not a lot of procrastination or hesitation, but it can be very impulsive as well. So if you're you're focusing, say, on your career at this time, Cancer, and you're trying to make a decision, just make sure you're not overly impulsive and you're really thinking things through as far as that goes. And also, too, when you're talking about Aries energy, it could also be confrontational energy. So it could be where maybe you're focusing too on standing up for the dominant parent, which is often the father or somebody that's prominent in your career or figure strongly in your public image or reputation. Say if you have a promoter, for example. But given, again, this is Aries energy, a lot of these 10th house matters can also be done with a lot of fortitude and courage as well, and really and again, could be with a little bit of impatience. So that's something to guard against this time, Cancer. So anyway, the next thing up is, as far as April goes, the Sun will be in Taurus from the 20th until the 30th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on one's friends, acquaintances, goals, aspirations, the future, groups, clubs, organizations, I should say, social networking and social media. Now, given that this, and even stepchildren perhaps. Now, given that this is Taurus energy, this could be done in a very plotting manner, and a lot of very methodical energy, very deliberate, but a lot of persistence as well, and patience and perseverance. This could be a time where could be strongly focusing on methodically moving toward your future or toward reaching some kind of goal or aspiration. At this time as well, given, this is Taurus energy, this could shine the light, so to speak, on a rather obstinate or stubborn friend at this time, or even a stepchild. It could even be a Taurus friend. It could be a Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Taurus characteristics at this time. And it could be a strong focus on a Taurus-like goal or aspiration. It could be something that could be connected with perhaps becoming a stockbroker, someone that works in some kind of finance field, or cultivation, gardening, working as a pawnbroker. It could be something that requires certain endurance, and it could be like weightlifting, anything that could be Taurus related, something associated with art, such as sculpting or painting or drawing, or the arts in general, such as acting or being an actress. So anyway, next thing up, there will be a new moon in Aries on April 5th, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, in some cases, this may manifest simply as a new Aries career. It could be starting or embarking on a career. It could be arson investigation, carpentry, welding. Some examples, working as an EMT, doing something in a leadership position or capacity. Something that could be firefighting, something that requires a courage and confrontation. It could be like with law enforcement, or working in like auto repossession, anything that could be Aries related, any field that may be associated with fire. Now, it could also be a time where you begin to really stand up for your reputation and public image more with a lot of courage and fortitude, and doing so without a lot of hesitation, procrastination. New moon in Aries is very good, and I mean, because you're talking about, I mean, new beginnings, and this is like, I mean, and you're talking about Aries is in the sign for that, about initiative and enterprise. New moons in astrology can be about starting forward with a lot of energy, and really in Aries, of course, is very energetic. So anyway, it's just a very good point for the new moon to be in. And anyway, getting back to how this may affect you, Cancer, this could be something where you might perhaps acquire, so to speak, a new Aries authority figure. It could be an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Aries characteristics. It could be somebody that's a boss or a supervisor at a job you're at in your career. It could also be a time when you start beginning to aspire, perhaps to attain notoriety and recognition with very little hesitation, procrastination, by being aggressive, by being assertive, by not really hesitating, basically, and in doing so with a lot of positive energy and not being easily discouraged. So anyway, the next thing up, there will be a full moon in Libra on April 19th. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, Cancer, this could be it could be the end of a Libra connection that you may have felt close to home with. It could be a Libra sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra-like characteristics. This could be a time too. Remember, the fourth house could be connected with the end of life, the latter part of life. And this could be a time too where maybe you find that relationship that you feel will be very sustainable, will be there for you at that latter part of life. And also and finding, and maybe you're at a point where you've reached a conclusion as to finding that balance at the end of life, and wanting and understanding what it is about having that balance at the end of life, and having perhaps also peace and harmony for the latter part of your life. And also, it could be a time too where you've come perhaps to completion, to understanding too, as far as having perhaps balance as far as emotional security goes, or maybe obtaining that peace finally, and having and really having peace and tranquility as far as your emotional security may go as well in your life, whether it's protecting your home better or equipping it with what you need as far as state-of-the-art, like alarm security system, like a Wi-Fi doorbell, for example. You found perhaps this is the time when you've reached that culmination, that point where you feel what you had at this up to this time. You've completed what you needed to do to have that emotional security, which could be connected with having peace and harmony and tranquility. So, and reducing non-combative situations, so to speak. So anyway, and really this could be a time too where, I mean, when you're talking about full moon in astrology, it could be about when one becomes tired, exasperated, or simply full of something or someone. It could be something where you might become tired, exasperated, full at somebody. It could be someone that's overly maybe complacent or superficial, or I should say exhibiting some superficial charm, someone that's overly indolent or too passive or too non-confrontational. It could be a person that you may feel close to home with, or somebody that could be the less dominant parent, which is often the mother, or just a family member. In general, this could also be a time too where a legal settlement or some negotiation or reconciliation or compromise may be completed with a home or family member, someone you're close to home with, the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. And also, given that this is going to mean The full moon astrology can often be about revelations and unveilings. This could be about the revelation or unveiling, perhaps of a criminal record connected with somebody associated with the fourth house. And also, when you're talking about unveilings and revelations, it could, I believe, could be self-revelations, unveiling sometimes. It could be where you might become more cognizant of who you are at the core and seeing these qualities and attributes that are way deep down, almost buried. Remember, the fourth house is associated with burial, so this could be, see, this is kind of figurative too. It could be something that's very buried deep within you, and it could be like Libra-like qualities, such as you might have actually more charming qualities, ability to ingratiate yourself with others, more intellectually sociable, more amicable, more charming than maybe you were originally cognizant or aware of. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Anyway, next thing up. Mercury will be in Pisces as far as April goes, from the 1st until the 17th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, Mercury in Pisces energy could be rather ambiguous and cryptic, and things can often be misconstrued. This may be very true, perhaps with communications, with in-laws, with grandchildren, people you may know at a religious congregation, a college, university. As I've stated previously, Mercury can also be about siblings. This could be about Pisces siblings. They could be Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Pisces-like characteristics. And it could be where they may be figuring out prominently, perhaps in your philosophical outlook, in your religious congregation. It could be in publishing matters. Perhaps it could be perhaps with foreign travel or traveling abroad. And given, I mean, a lot of this, I mean, whether they have a positive impact or whether it's to your detriment, a lot of it could be dependent and predicated on aspects this makes to points in your chart. I mean, if it's, say, if this makes a positive aspect to your, say, to your natal Jupiter, they could actually be maybe very auspicious for things and matters with publishing, etc. But I mean, if it makes some adverse aspects, it might be, let's say if it makes an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, it could be where they might be actually causing you more sorrow and dejection in matters connected with the 9th house, and maybe even some kind of restriction or limitation. Now, and also too, that Mercury can also be connected with thieves, so it's important at this time, Cancer. I mean, Cancer is a sign, of course, I mean, they're actually very similar to Pisces, because I think they could actually be an easy mark for thieves, unfortunately. And this is something where if you're traveling abroad, Cancer, you're in some religious congregation or college, university, even matters with your in-laws and grandchildren, it's very important to be careful at this time to not be duped by them, because you're talking about Pisces type, either Pisces, sun, moon, or ascendant thieves, perhaps, are ones that embody those characteristics, and of course they could be very duplicitous and deceptive. And Pisces type thieves can make some of the better ones, unfortunately, because they have chameleon-like qualities and can put on a very good facade. Anyway, this could also be a time too where you might be do some communication that's Pisces related that ultimately could lead to publishing. It could be something connected with poetry, dancing, something connected with photography, pharmaceutical work, fantasy, fictional type writing, anything that could be Pisces related. So anyway, well, next thing up is Mercury will be in Aries as far as April goes, from the 17th until the 30th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, one way this may manifest, this could be about having very direct, forthright, and outspoken communications with the dominant parent, which is often the father. It could be with authority figures. It could be a time if you've been holding back, Cancer, and you've been hesitating, procrastinating on standing up to some of these 10th house people. This could be a time where you might be more confrontational, so to speak, in your communications and not really hold back. It could be too, as I've stated before, that Mercury can also be, it's not just about communication, it could also be about siblings. This could be about Aries siblings. They could be Aries, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Aries-like characteristics that might figure more prominently in your career, your notoriety, recognition, your stature in life. They could be also figure strongly perhaps in your reputation, your public image, anything that could be 10th house related, your success in life, attaining a position of authority. And also too, you might find yourself having more pioneering, really pioneering ideas, very original, could even be innovative ideas that might play a role in your career, in where you are headed in life in terms of, well, as far as your stature in life goes. And anyway, and maybe even getting some notoriety and recognition in the process. And as I've talked about before, Mercury can also be about thieves. So it's very important. I mean, you're talking about Aries thieves. They could be Aries, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or ones that embody Aries characteristics. But when you're talking about Aries, these are ones that could be very direct and to the point, so to speak, and there's nothing subtle about this energy. So I mean, it's one of those things. If you're in a neighborhood or area at this time, I mean, 10th house could be connected, I believe, with business. I mean, your career, of course, the career and business as well. So I mean, be careful at this time, Cancer, because I mean, this could be a time, I mean, you could be a little bit more susceptible to something like this happening at your place of your career. If you're in a business, it could be something too, and where, I mean, like I said, the energy is not subtle when you're talking about Aries. It could be very straightforward. It could be just like a stick up kind of thing. So anyway, well, last but not least, Venus will be in Pisces as far as April goes, from the 20th until the 30th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, it might be a time, Cancer, where you may strongly value compassion, altruism, and self-sacrificing in matters with in-laws, with grandchildren, with foreigners. Perhaps you might find yourself being charitable on a monetary level, sacrificing a lot, perhaps of your money, and really it could be for foreigners, people in another country, and that might be less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, and the homeless. It could be a time too where Cancer, you might find yourself spending, perhaps it could be on trying to get something published, Pisces related published. It could be something connected with poetry, with dancing, something with chemistry or photography, fictional fantasy writing, something associated, anything that could be Pisces related. It could be with something with the paranormal, perhaps writing, just like I stated, anything that could be Pisces related, maybe about dreams. And also too, when you're talking about Venus and Pisces, this could be a time where one may be more susceptible to financial fraud or deception. It could be with perhaps someone at some religious congregation, or an in-law or grandchild. If it's at a religious, I mean, anything, I mean, religious congregation, it could be from the main pastor, and or as an example, or somebody saying there, well, you know, gee, the Lord has asked me to give, I've got a calling from the Lord for you to give me $200, and it's really not, maybe perhaps fallacious or not true, and money just winds up going into whoever is the head of the church's pocket, as an example. So I mean, it's just very important to be careful as far as that goes. A lot of this could be dependent and predicated on aspects this makes to points in your chart. I mean, if this makes an adverse aspect, say, to your natal Neptune, this could be a time where it could actually increase the propensity for being caught off guard on a financial level at this time. So, in being deceived and really in duplicitous activity monetarily, where you may succumb to some kind of financial deception or fraud. And also, too, it might be a time where you might find yourself really perhaps spending, well, actually what I want to talk about is that if you're unattached at this time, Cancer, you might find yourself connecting with a Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant person. It could be one, or it might be someone that embodies Pisces characteristics. It might be a foreigner or someone you meet through traveling abroad at this time, or someone you know in some higher education capacity, somebody like maybe a student you meet at a college, university, or it might be someone you meet at a religious congregation at this time. Or so anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Cancer April 2019 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. And stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Cancer April 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.